Good morning. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about the world. Because, for many decades I've thought to myself occasionally, like, so what does it mean? What does it mean when you say the world? The world does this, the world does that. The standards of the world, worldly people versus, say, spiritual people. And I think I've had an insight into it that I want to share with you, which is so it answers the question, what is the world? So the world is what you see, all the people in the world, some of whom are much more in the world than others, but they're drawn into the world. So the world is everybody who lives on the earth at this time, and as far as history goes, what they lived in the past, and they wrote down everything. So that's the world, and so we can make some observations about the world. The world, for instance, obviously, if we think of everyone as being one creation, one being, one soul, that kind of thing. Some of us, sometimes there are a lot of people, lots of people, who've actually experienced that. So it's not just a bunch of words. It's a wonderful feeling, a wonderful reality in which you you are actively aware of being part of the one. So it's a true thing. I don't expect you to believe it, but it's true, actually. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about it all the time. It's not just a concept, it's a reality. So, in the worldly people, when we look at them, what do we see? Well, we see a number of things. We see that one of the things that I see first right off the bat, or what I noted, was they don't seem to get along very well with themselves, with each other. Oh no, I mean, and they do a bunch of things which are kind of low grade in terms of being a true human being, being a real human being, and that is, for instance, they just they don't always tell the truth. They get mad and kill each other, and then there's some of them think they're brilliant, and other people worship them. So, to the degree that the world as a soul, I mean, is to whatever degree it's lost, you can see that in the world. As the world, for instance, right now is less and less thinking and paying attention to God. The world, oh yeah, so the world feels that it is the authority. Here's how the world feels about this. Here's how we feel. We, the leaders of the free world, blah, blah, blah. So they take up the position of God. God is not the authority. They are. Man is. So the world feels that it's God. And of course this immediately leads to a lot of mischief, because then they feel like, well, they can do anything they want. And they can do anything, and they can... and they're powerful, and they'll never die, and all kinds of things that one would loosely associate with some kind of creator or something like that. So they're deluded. So the world, not everybody, but so part of the world is like part of us. Part of us knows better. Part of us is more human in varying degrees. So the world is not listening to the Almighty. They're listening to each other. They've gotten into a scrabble, and all they're thinking about is each other. Or what did he say? And how much money do they have? And what's he doing? And they manifest many signs of being lost. One of the signs of being lost, not being in your own nature, not having dignity, not standing up for certain things, is that you fall into imitating. So we see in the world imitate. So one state in the United States, for instance, does something, then another state goes like, well, I don't know, Michigan's doing it, maybe we should do it. So they imitate each other, and like monkeys do, and I hear, and so they learn something this way, but all they learn is how to imitate each other and be more like the other people who are what. So this is a kind of picture of the world, but in that world is also beauty and wondrous things, marvelous things that somehow the good side, does come in. The human side, the great music, the wonderful art, the magnificent giving and loving that takes place every day. So in that regard, the world, so we can say about the world that it has a good side and a lost side, or I don't want to say bad, but lost. So it's in general, it is not a world that is found. It's a world that, to varying degrees, is lost and doesn't know what to do. So then the world is that part of the world is the thing that came up with money, which sounds like a great idea to man, but it turns out it's not a very good idea at all. For a number of reasons, which you can look at some of my videos on free money and stuff like that, which kind of bring up some of the reasons why some of the more really looking at it, what was the difficulty with something like that. So yeah, that's the world. Spiritual people, contrasting the world with the spiritual people. Well, let's take, I don't know, yeah, we can do that. Say that people are making good progress in this life. Edgar Casey was pointing out that they often just lead ordinary lives. They just are ordinary people in the community. And if you live long enough, you'll find it gets to be revealed to you. It isn't the smart, clever, wealthy person, or the swift runner, or anything like that, or the beautiful woman that everyone looks at, or the man who everyone admires, that you actually find some good stuff in, and peace and solace, and something that actually helps you. And that's generally just the ordinary Joe. He's an ordinary guy. It's very ordinary. You hardly, you didn't even notice him at first. But it turns out that he's tried and true. He'll be there for you when trouble comes. He's liable to notice it, and he'll knock on your door and help you out. Or if you go to him, he'll stop what he's doing and he'll help you out. So these are the true treasures. I don't want to go too far with it, but generally speaking, that's the true treasures that we have on the earth, are these ordinary people. And indeed, I don't ask you to believe this, but as you progress spiritually, you move along. You let God reconstitute you, restore you to being a true human being. In other words, you submit and you stop thinking that you're the big deal, and you let God. And it's a wonderful process because it's the way we're made. So it feels good and it works really well. And so God brings you back to being a human being, a real human being. And so I'm not going to make this much longer. Just want to share that insight about what is the world. The world is all the people in the world think they know what they're doing and try to run things, and are mostly kind of lost and I think they're God, and stuff like that. A lot of it is that, what we call the world. Worldly people, their values are not generally spiritual values. They don't understand. They don't know any better. And so, you know, just a rough picture. And then, of course, there's the good side. You don't want to leave the good side out. So you know, because that is an interesting point, which I'm not that enlightened about it, so I won't say much about it. But that is that in the world you have standards, pretty high standards for certain kinds of behavior and activity, and a lot of those standards, many of the standards are correct. You know, so when the world puts up a standard of behavior that you know, don't throw it aside because it's so foreign to you. You say, well, I just want to be free and be myself and do whatever I want. And the world says that, you know, you have to respect older people. You know, people like me, you know. Just kidding. But, you know, you have to respect older people and you should treat everybody. You know, the people are equal. They bandy that around quite a bit, talking points, you know. Don't ignore those things, even if you don't feel them yourself. Because a lot of them they're true. Okay, so the last thing I want to do just for fun is to talk about the world in terms of the coronavirus. Well, the world, since it doesn't pay any attention to the Almighty and spiritual life in general, doesn't know much about it. Yeah, because they try to figure it out with their mind, they get confused, they can't figure it out, so they say, well, forget it. I'm just going to do what I know I can do, and that's a healthy thing, to do what you know that you can do and it makes sense to you. You know, to some extent. So in terms of the coronavirus, what do we have? Well, we have some interesting things. We have a very materialistic. You have a lot of. Well, I'm not going to go there. Okay, so what you have is you have the fear of death. Fear. And you have worldly people, they're into being afraid. Oh, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that, I don't want to do this, you know. But they try to, you know, maintain, because they know there's a standard that you're not supposed to be afraid. So they kind of, but they're basically rather cowardly, and they don't know that they're cowardly, but or maybe they don't face it, but they are. They're cowards. So you know, if you threaten them, they'll run away. You know, stuff like that. You know, I suppose I'm not into threatening people, so. But you know, things. So the coronavirus is about the fear of death. So everybody is so afraid, and they say, "Well, my God, the only thing to do is to we must have," and they have guilt too. I think so. They think we must have done something wrong. So the only thing to do is go home, and stay in your room. You know, 'cause you're being punished, and in general, they don't seem to be able to act immediately, which you needed in this case in actual, you know, human intelligence, which the human intelligence showed you right away that South Korea was on the ball, and the way they did things, that was the most intelligent thing to do. You know, before it gets out of hand, before that Pandora's box gets opened very far, you close it down, and you find those little creatures. You trace them, and you trace their friends, and you lock those people down. It's worked perfectly in South Korea, and to some extent, they were the best. So then, yeah, okay, that's the answer. That's the trick of the trade in terms of viruses. They're showing you, they're leading by example what to do. So do that. Yeah, that works. Wow, isn't that something? It does work. It's like the carpenter on a scene. He comes over. He's a nice guy, and you're doing something. You're pretty happy with it. It's taking a lot of effort. He says, "Yeah, well, let me just show you a little thing here. If you just do it like this and like this, see." You kind of stand a little bit more like this. Then you have more power when you do this thing. Why it's not so taxing on you to go bunnies, and you're open-minded, which is a kind of a characteristic of people who are not so lost. Closed-mindedness is a characteristic of people who are pretty lost, I guess. You know, as I say, it's not maybe I'm not going to blame them for it, but they're lost, So go home, shut the door. But no, what of course the thing to do was, and still is, and they're starting gradually. They're starting to come on board. It's taken a while, a few months, and that's in this case, it's a normal. It's pretty fast for mankind. It usually takes them a couple years to get something. In this case, they're doing it in a few months, which is better. But in a fast-acting virus, it wasn't quick enough. So we're all paying. I'm sitting here, and I have to think along. I have to be very careful about going out in case somebody sees me. Ooh, and then of course they're having fun with it. They're making all the signs, one-way aisles in the grocery stores, and people telling you things, don't put that down there. It's not your turn yet. They get a chance to kind of boss you around, and they think that's great fun. And all this kind of thing. So they're having, they're having something from it. Anywho, yeah, you can make a fortune from making all kinds of neat masks now. I guess we're gonna have to wear masks for the rest of our lives, or I don't know if you want to make a fortune. I'm not sure. I never did, and I'm not sure I'm unhappy. I mean, sometimes I do think, well, it'd be nice to have more resources. But on the other hand, I do find that I learn a lot by being, having a pretty hard, I mean, not having, I have enough, I have what I need, because God loves me, so He helps me. If I follow His guidance, then I get what I need. I would have to say I recommend that, whether it means you make money or not. But, so, this thing, I mean, you got to think, as a human being, is it really your job? Is this what you were made for, that God made you for? To try to go around and dodge some little thing that's, basically it's invisible. You can't actually see it unless you have some huge instrument, electron microscope. So, you can't see it. So now you're going to wander around everything you do, where you put your hands, and for God's sake, don't touch your face, whatever you do, Gee, what if your eyelids, something burn, a little burning spring, so you get all kind of little things, or, yeah, no, what, you're supposed to just endure that? So, it's kind of, it's coming, anyway, so I'm just going to say that it'll probably, what will it do? I don't really know the future. I think we're all sort of guessing that by summer, there's some signs, inner signs that, around the 1st of June there'll be some light coming in. And that means it will be freer, and then we're expecting some sort of social adaptation. And it'll be a question whether the Grinches get to take over now, and make it socially, you have to be politically correct. So if you don't go out with a head covering and a mask on, why, they'll shoot you, I mean, they'll make you sorry. And I don't think we're really too keen on that idea of spending our lives searching around for viruses and trying to find little things that we can't even see, and avoiding having emotional connections with each other, and touching each other and consoling each other in the ways that we do with natural affection. Because there could be, a germ there. Look out, oh no. So hopefully we'll all kind of get used to this, and it'll integrate into society. And it'll be a little bit more drama. Some people will die quite suddenly, and we'll just get used to that, I mean, that's because otherwise, there's a whole bunch of people who just like to close everything down and just, that's it, okay, we're not. But I think the healthy part of us doesn't want to do that. We just want to, really, to be frank, follow the guidance of God and see where that goes, and just be free to follow that guidance wherever it takes us. And if it takes us to death, well, then there you are. Turned out it was time to go. Well, I'll hope you're having a lot of fun. Um, you know, you can take a walk now, but when you do, you have to have a mask on, or somebody's going to get upset with you. They might call in on you. Just joking. Well, yeah, but they might still. Anyhow, have a happy day. I'm looking forward to the summer, June. I'm set to go another month and a half. Fast is coming up. We'll be fasting. That'll be good. And then by summer, I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure that we're going to get some relief. You can quote me on that if you want to. All right. Love you. Bye-bye.